Welcome in, everybody. Man, do we have a big game to talk about tomorrow? It feels like the Illinois game a little bit, where a lot of things are at stake, of course, going into that Illinois ball game. What was that, 3 weeks ago? Ranked on ranked. And we went into Lincoln, a lot of expectations, and we lost. Different feeling here, but it seems like it's the same scenario where we're going into Bloomington, ranked battle. We're on the outside looking in the AP poll. And we have an opportunity to take down not only a top 25 team, this is a borderline top 15 team in Indiana. They're a very good squad. So throughout today's live video, we're going to talk about this game, give you a pregame, just what's going on, get last thoughts. We're going to talk about Dawson Merritt, what's going on in that recruitment. Spoiler alert, he's having a game right now in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is at that game. Travis Kelce's at that game. We'll talk about it. And I have an update around Dawson Merritt, some flipping stuff. And then we're going to talk about the uniforms. I dropped that video, about 30 minutes ago. There's been rumors circulating over the last couple of days that Nebraska is bringing back the all-white. So we have a loaded live stream for you guys today. Let me know down below. I know people have already put in the chat where you guys tuning in from throughout the state of Nebraska, throughout the country. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Hey, make sure to hit that like button on the stream. Appreciate you guys. But let's just get into the show. Of course, I will get into the comment section as we go on. But I want to talk about Indiana, what they bring to the table, what they have going on. Because, man, oh man, is that going to be a big time game tomorrow. I am looking forward to it. So, starting off here, looking at Indiana. They are, according to ESPN, a 5-point favorite tomorrow. I can't believe that. Oh, actually, nope. They are a 6.5-point favorite. So the lines actually move throughout the week. They start off at about a 4-point favorite. It's went over to about 6.5. Unbelievable line. And this is the largest Nebraska spread deficit we've seen in a very, very long time. We are rarely the underdogs. In this manner, though, on the road, down by 7, I'm not a betting man, but if I were to bet on this game, I'd probably go in Nebraska's favor. But Indiana's a really good team. And I want to start off by giving respect to Indiana because they are better than Illinois. Illinois beat us in Lincoln. They are a better team than Illinois. Okay, if they played Illinois head-to-head, Indiana would win. Indiana has not trailed in a game all year. Their average win total is by 35 points. And yes, they haven't played anybody. Okay, let's look at Indiana's schedule. I just want to pull it up for you guys. Right, if we look at Indiana, the teams they've played this year, okay, they had 3 awful non-conference games against Charlotte, Western Illinois, and FIU, but they took care of business as you'd expect. And then they played UCLA, Northwestern, and then Maryland. Okay, none of those teams are good. Those are the 30 worst teams in the Big Ten. But although they played bad opponents, they not only beat them, but they destroyed them. That's what good teams do when they play bad teams. They kill them. Okay, they killed FAU. They killed Western Illinois. They killed UCLA. They killed Charlotte. They killed Northwestern. I truly believe this is a really decent team. Okay, but I will tell you this: Nebraska is the biggest test they've had so far, and it's not even close. It's not even close. So I understand why the line is what it is because Indiana's ranked as high as they are. They're undefeated, but, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but a lot of you guys are putting it out there, you might put some money down. I might look at that line for Nebraska, but at the end of the day, I also would never bet on Nebraska because we are the most unpredictable team in college football, as we all know. We lose games we should win. We win games we should lose. That's just how it goes around here, so not sure if I would bet on that, but I'm leaning towards that Nebraska cover right there with a 6.5 spread. The over-under, I can't believe I normally don't look at the over-unders, but the fact that it's 50 also seems a little low with a very high-powered Indiana offense. But let's talk about Indiana a little bit more because this is, again, big-time game. Listen, a lot of people have been saying that they really trust Nebraska because of Matt Rhule's confidence. Yesterday, I guess, in his press conference, he had a little bit of a sneaky confidence to him. Again, I don't really buy into that stuff because if you look at Kirk Cignetti over there at Indiana, he has some confidence as well. He has some swagger. He has some pop, right? So, I think Matt Rhule has given him respect. I think he's confident in his team, but I'm not going to, give that, as a reason why I think Nebraska is going to win. I think Nebraska is going to win in a close ball game simply because enough is enough. It is finally time for Nebraska to beat a good team. Finally time for it. We've been waiting 8 years. I told you in my video today. This would be Nebraska's biggest victory since the Mike Riley era. And it doesn't feel like it'd be that big of a victory because Indiana historically is not good. And when we looked at this game in the preseason, we didn't think Indiana was going to be good. But here we are. So I think it's time for Nebraska to finally get the monkey off their back, get a ranked win. But it's just going to go down to how this defense can hold up against Indiana's offense, because they have one of the best offenses in the country. Period. They have one of the best offenses in the country. They have the 9th best offense in terms of points. They have the 9th best offense in terms of yards per game. And once again, they haven't played anybody, but that passing offense is elite. Okay, I trust our run defense. We are the only team in the country to not give up a rushing touchdown. That's unbelievable. 6 games in the year, we haven't given up a rushing touchdown. So I trust our run defense. I don't trust our pass defense. It was the same deal versus Illinois. When Illinois came to Lincoln, our run defense, well, I shouldn't even say that. Our run defense didn't hold up. Our defense crumbled that game. But our pass defense was really the problem. That's where Indiana scored all their points. Okay, so our pass defense needs to step up. Tommy Hill needs to be going tomorrow. I think he will be. Cia Wright needs to start. Matt Rhule, make the call. I don't care. He needs to start. You bench Buford, you bench Hartzog, whoever it is. We need Cia Wright on the field because he's one of the best corners, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country. Okay, so Cia Wright needs to start. I'm going to be livid if that guy doesn't play almost every single rep. In general, man, it's going to be a prove-it game for a lot of these guys in the secondary because we need them to step up in a big way. Now, I think this is the best quarterback we've played so far in Curtis O'Rourke. I would say this is the 2nd or 3rd best receiver core. They don't have necessarily top-end guys like you'll see in Colorado with Travis Hunter, or just deep. They're not as deep as Illinois. Illinois has 2 future NFLers, but they're still very deep. They have 4 or 5 guys I like to go to. They're fast, so again, really, really nervous about this receiver core. If you can hold Indiana to less than 20 points, you win the football game. However, if they put up more than 30, it starts to get dicey. Now, 20 to 30 is the sweet spot. Anything can happen. But if you can hold Indiana less than 20 points, you win. Okay. So that's Indiana's offense. What does Nebraska need to do on their offensive side of football to win? Well, we need to fix this running game because that has been a terrible mark over the last couple of games. We have no push on this offensive line. Starts with the offensive line. First thing, Micah Mazuka needs to start. Not even a question. Okay, Micah Mazuka needs to start for the Huskers. Again, I don't care what's going on off the field, and I know what happened off the field. Okay, I've talked with Micah Mazuka's family. I've talked with people very close to his life. Okay, I've told you guys bits and pieces. There's things that I will tell you, in a couple months, just because if I were to tell you now, it would hurt the program. It would hurt our recruiting. So I can't tell you everything. But Micah Mazuka, what I will tell you is he's a good kid. Okay, he's a really, really good kid. And a lot of times what happened wasn't really his fault. Okay, and I'll tell you this as well. He's the best offensive lineman we have. I don't know if you guys know this. Micah Mazuka got invited to the NFL Combine. One of his family members told me that he got invited to the NFL Combine last spring. He didn't go purely because of the baggage he had from Florida. Okay, that Florida was obviously a toxic situation. He wanted to have one more, rep in college. So he said, nope, I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to go to Nebraska, and we'll see what happens. Okay, he could have been in the NFL right now, but he didn't. Okay, try to convince me that a NFL player who would have got drafted, Mike Mazuka, is not one of the 5 best linemen on our team. You can't tell me that. It's not due to talent. Okay? He needs to play. He needs to play. Because you could see the difference in our run offense with him and with him off the field. So I don't know if he starts tomorrow. I don't know what his reps look like. I just need him in the ballgame. And if I were the coach, which I'm not, I would start him. So that's all I can tell you about that Micah Mazuka thing. But again, he is a good kid, and I believe that, really. And I shouldn't say kid because he's a little bit older than I am, but he's a good guy. Okay, really, really, really good guy, and he's a hard worker. And he's all business. That's the type of guy he is. He's the type of guy to go to practice and do everything you ask of him, and then go home. He's not really talk to anybody. He's not this rah guy that the media tries to say he is. Okay, he's kind of an introvert, but in that exact same degree, Micah's a little bit emotional. So if you get in his face about something, he'll give you something back. So that's what I'll tell you. But I truly believe Micah is the best offensive lineman we have. You got to put him out there, man. And he's not a toxic player. I don't buy into any of that. I don't buy into that. He's not toxic. He's not hurt in the locker room. He's just not. Okay. again, there's some things that I'll tell you guys maybe in January, maybe February. And the reason why I'm holding it back, I normally tell you guys everything, is just because if I were to tell you, it would hurt the program. It would hurt Nebraska football. It would hurt our recruiting primarily. That's why I'm not telling you, because it would hurt recruiting. But I've told you guys pretty much all you should know for now, according to the Mike Mazuka situation. So I need that start. The running game starts with him. The running game starts with Mike Mazuka getting that start. So that's number one. Number two, we need guys like Dante Dowd to play well, because, again, the running game is our bread and butter. It's our bread and butter. Dante Dowd needs to have a good game. Emmett Johnson did not play very well versus Rutgers. If he gets reps, he needs to play well. Ramir needs to play well. Okay. There is a scenario where the running game once again struggles versus Indiana. You've got to ditch it in that point. You've got to go away from it completely. Okay, you've got to. Indiana's a good run defense. They really do. It's an underrated part of their team. You know what's not a good part of Indiana's team? Their pass defense. I'm going to share with you guys a statistic that I want you guys to know. Dylan Raiola, according to Pro Football Focus, is a top 5 quarterback in college football against zone coverage. Top 5. Against zone coverage. Against man coverage, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in college football. Okay, why is this important? Why is this knowledge crucial for tomorrow's game? Indiana runs zone coverage more than any other team in the country. They can't run man. If that's the case tomorrow, and I expect the defensive coordinator to change things up and run man a little bit more, but odds are they're going to run zone still 80% of the time. Dylan Raiola is going to feast because he is so decisive inside the pocket, finding those weak spots in the zone, finding open men. I think we're going to have a good day passing the football. Okay. So that's why I'm feeling good about the passing attack. One thing that I'm concerned about when it comes to our offense is our red zone play calling. That's what I think about when I think of Marcus Satterfield's struggles. Okay. I think Marcus Satterfield's got a little bit better. But inside the red zone, he's not improved at all. Okay. According to statistics, right, if we go to teamrankings.com, Nebraska has one of the worst red zone offenses in America. Okay. When you mix bad red zone play calling and a bad special teams, you don't score many points inside the 20. But you've got to figure that out tomorrow. We've got to score points. We've got to score touchdowns. When you get inside the 10, you got to score touchdowns. Okay. How can the play calling be this bad inside the 20 when you have so much talent at your disposal? You have Dylan Raiola. You have Dante. You have not the best offensive line, but it's improved from where it has been. You have a great receiver core. How can the play calling be so bad? I gave Marcus Satterfield, I gave him a pass last year because the talent wasn't good. Okay, we were starting Hoiberg at quarterback. We had 2 true freshman receivers starting. Our offensive line was bloody and damaged. So I gave him a pass. Not anymore, because the talent is so good. Okay, we should be succeeding inside the red zone, and yet we're not. So that's what's going to come down to it tomorrow. How can we convert inside the 20? Okay. It's going to be a one-score game, and I try to tell you guys this throughout the week. Indiana is really, really good, and I think we're good. So we're not going to blow them out by any measure, especially in Bloomington. Maybe we played in Memorial. If we played at home, maybe. No, we're playing them in Bloomington. We're not blowing them out. It's going to be a one-score game. If anybody's getting blown out, it's probably more likely to be us. I don't think that's going to happen either way. It's going to be close. It's going to be one score. Probably will go down the last possession. I'm going to answer you this right now, or I'm going to ask you this question. Okay. Is Matt Rhule a clutch coach? He's still yet to have a ranked victory at Nebraska. He went 0-4 to end the season last year, in all in close ball games. I don't know if he's had a one-score win. Oh, he had a one-score win, I guess, versus Rutgers, but that should have been a game we blew him out. So, is Matt Rhule a clutch coach? Let me know in the comment section. I don't think he is, but he is an opportunity to change that narrative tomorrow and to be a clutch coach. Okay, he was a clutch coach at Baylor. He was a clutch coach at Temple, not necessarily at Carolina, obviously, with what happened over there, but he has an opportunity to change the narrative tomorrow. Okay, if it's a one-score ball game, you have an opportunity to change the narrative and be a clutch coach, to make a good in-game decision because he struggles with that time management. He struggles, with calling timeouts at the right time, with, trusting his offense over them being conservative. He's too conservative oftentimes. Okay? He has an opportunity to be clutch. And in that exact same equation, we're going to find out if Dylan Raiola is a clutch quarterback. Because really, he's only had one, opportunity to be clutch his entire career, and that was against Illinois. And unfortunately, Dylan Raiola, he overthrew Luke Lindenmeyer in the end zone for a touchdown. We turned out to lose that game. And obviously, we saw it happen in overtime. So, again, I'm not saying Dylan Raiola is not clutch because we only saw him play in one close ball game. We will find this out tomorrow, is what I'm telling you. We'll get answers. I don't have an answer for you. I don't know if it's going to happen. I like to think it will. I predict it will. Maybe that's a little wishful thinking, but if we look at the history over the last couple of years, Nebraska hasn't been a clutch program. Matt Rhule hasn't been a clutch coach. Our roster hasn't necessarily been clutch. In order to win football games, especially in the Big Ten, you have to have that clutch gene. You have to be at your best in the fourth quarter when the game gets tight. We haven't been. We've been at our worst in those scenarios. Can we switch that this time around? We'll find out. That's the key for tomorrow. That's the key. And it all goes back to shutting down that passing attack for Indiana, having a good red zone play calling all throughout the game, being consistent on offense, okay, winning time of possession, winning the field position battle, and playing our freaking brand of football. If we can do that, I feel really good about our odds, man. Really feel good about our odds. But, again, at the exact same time, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm, uber confident about this ball game because I have to give respect to Indiana. They're a really good team. Again, they're the number 16 team in the country. They're not some garbage can. And I think a lot of times, the Nebraska fan base, and I do this too, we overlook a lot of opponents or we play down to them like, oh, Indiana's not as good as they seem. We're better. We do this all the time as a fan base. We've done it for the last decade. And I think the reason we do that is because, well, at least I think the older generation does it because the older generation is used to winning a lot. I'm a younger fan. We've never won in my lifetime, so I'm prone to give other teams a lot of respect because I'm just used to losing to these guys. Okay, I get some of the older fans who, kind of look up, they think Nebraska's going to win every game. We're playing a really good team tomorrow. I'm going to give them our respect, but at the exact same time, I'm going to acknowledge the fact that I think we have a good opportunity to win. Okay, I think we do. It's going to be a close ball game. But it's going to go down to if Matt Rhule is a clutch coach, is Dylan Raiola a clutch quarterback, and how good is Nebraska really? How good are we really? I gave you guys that equation versus Illinois. I said we will find out how good Nebraska really is after the conclusion of this game. We lost. I told you outside Memorial at the end of that, we found out how good we are. We're good. We're not great. So we found out versus Illinois, we were good, not great. We were able and are able to win 6-7 games, but we're not necessarily able to win maybe 9-10. That's what we learned after Illinois. Has anything changed in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks? Now that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. And we're healthy. We have no excuses. If we go out there and lose tomorrow, we have no excuses. Okay, we can't make the injury excuse tomorrow. We had a bye week. We can't make we're banged up, we're tired. No. Okay. We can't make the excuse that the spotlight's on us as a ranked team. We're not ranked. They're the ranked. They have everything to lose tomorrow. We have nothing to lose. Actually, that's not true. We have stuff to lose, but they have more to lose than we do. Okay. So we can't make excuse. We got to go out there and play our brand of football. So we're going to find out how good we really are tomorrow. If we lose, again, it reaffirms the fact that we're only good enough to maybe win 6-7 games. If we win, we can start talking about potentially ending the season with 9, maybe even 10. And then a lot of hype's going to be going into that game next week in Columbus. But we can't even talk about that Columbus game just yet because we have a game tomorrow on our hands that's just about as big. Big time game, guys. I'm fired up. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm fired up because there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake, man. Big time ranked game. But it just tells you how far we've developed as a program, that we're sitting here, we have a ranked opponent on the road, and we still feel pretty confident that our team can go out there and execute. Now, a lot of you guys probably think we might lose. A lot of you guys might think we win. But the fact that we all can come together and agree that Nebraska has a pretty decent chance to go out there and compete, that tells you that we've developed as a program. Now, that's a little bit of a moral victory, because I'm not just satisfied with competing. I want to win. But it feels good that we're in this position. And you know what also feels good? We have 6 games left. We're 1 game away from bowl eligibility. Now, I don't want to look ahead, because that's what we did last year. We had 4 games left, 1 win away from bowl eligibility. Look how that turned out. Could happen again. We'll see what happens. Big time game tomorrow, guys. Big time game tomorrow. All right, finally time to get into the comment section, see what you guys are saying. There's a lot of stuff here, so I'll try to see what I'm going to respond to. But everybody, put your stuff in the comment section. I'll respond to a bunch of them. Then we'll, of course, get to the recruiting talk. But let's see what you guys are saying. First off, I want to thank you, Jake Whitley, for joining the Skurs squad. I appreciate you, my man, for your support. Deion says Nebraska has no offense. I agree with you at times. I agree with you in the second half. We really struggled in the second half of ball games. That's because the drives aren't scripted anymore. So Marcus Satterfield has to make calls on the fly. He struggles. Really, really struggles. And if you have an offensive coordinator that can't make play calls on the fly and can't improvise, then what kind of offensive coordinator do you have? Something I want you guys to remember. So we'll see what happens. Again, I think Nebraska has a talented offense, but we just don't, in my opinion, have the coach who's, behind the play calls that we should have. Marcus Satterfield, somebody commented this a couple weeks ago on my channel that I really liked. They said, Marcus Satterfield is a good enough coordinator to win Nebraska maybe 6-7 games, but he's not good enough for Nebraska to win the Big Ten. I agree with that. I agree. And when we try to run with intention, we end up in a bad play in distant situations, which kill. Hold on, let me get to this. Hold on. Let me get to the end of this comments, which kill drives. Yeah, I agree with you. Again, and a lot of times I think we're just too inconsistent as an offense. We're incredibly inconsistent where, we'll have a lot of success running the football and we'll go away from it. We'll try to get fancy. We'll try to have a chunk play. And then nothing starts to work. The running game will get shut down and keep trying to go back to it. So we're just so inconsistent as an offense. Really quick, I want to thank, let me pull this up here. Got a super chat from Mud Whistle for $20. Hey, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you a lot for the support. Hopefully Nebraska can get that victory tomorrow. That would be big time. Vince says, tell us about the white jersey. So yeah, I made my video, an hour ago at this point. Again, the rumor on the street is Nebraska will be wearing alternate white jerseys tomorrow. Again, is this confirmed? No. So I want to preface with that. That's not confirmed, but that's been the rumor. It's been everywhere over the last couple of weeks. I'm just kind of reporting it. Honestly, the fact that it hasn't been shot down yet tells me it's probably true. I love it. I love wearing the white uniforms. I know a lot of people don't like them because they think they're the surrender whites. I think they're cursed. I think that's stupid personally. I want to wear the best looking uniforms that the recruits like, that I like, and, go out there, look clean, and win football games. Every single uniform we've wore over the last couple of years has been cursed. Okay. We lose in every uniform. Let's go out there and roll. I don't care if we wear blue. Just win football games, guys. Win football games. Win football games. Our wide receivers need to step up and block with authority so we can break off some big runs. I agree. This is a good point, Jake. This is a really good point. Our wide receivers have not blocked very well over the last couple of games. That's not something you would expect from Isaiah Nair. That's not something you expect from Jamal Banks because those guys are 6'4", 6'3", big time, big, physically big receivers. You'd think they'd be good on the perimeter blocking against smaller cornerbacks, and yet they haven't been. So absolutely, they need to step up. They need to step up, guys. We need them to have a good game. Let's see. Has anyone else seen the pregame video of Mazuka versus Tyrob? He bullied Tyrob, guys. Force of nature. You know what? That's a really good point, Christian. I want to bring this up because I posted this on my Twitter I don't even know. I posted this on my Twitter like 2 weeks ago. So we'll bring this up. So I was talking about Micah Mazzccua, and I think this guy's a complete stud. Micah Mazzccua, one of the best in the country. I truly believe he's one of the best in the country. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, at Wilson D Sports. But I posted this, I don't know how long ago. And let's see if I can pull this up right here. Of Micah Mazzccua versus, here we go. So this is a pregame drill. It's got 500 likes, 70K views. This is Micah Mazzccua going up against Ty Robinson. Basically, there's no, really purpose of this drill besides trying to go and beat each other, right? Who can drive each other back? It's not like technical or anything. Like, these guys are just trying to go at each other, see who could push each other back. Look what happens here. Okay, Micah Mazzccua is the nearest guy. This is against Ty Robinson, our best defensive lineman. Look at this. Mazzccua is actively pushing this guy back. That should prove to you that this guy's one of the best in the country. He's a dog. Put him on the field. I will show you guys this one more time. Again, dominates Ty Robinson. Ty Robinson is huge. This dude is a freak of nature. I'm not saying Ty Robinson's bad. You have two really good players going at it, and Micah Mazzccua wins that fight. Tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know. So that's a really good point, Christian. Appreciate you bringing that up because, again, Mazzccaa's a good player. He needs to get in the game. If I were Satterfield, I'd come up with 4 verticals and take a shot early. I would maybe do that in the second half or third quarter. Not in the first quarter. In the first quarter, play your game, script a drive, go down the field and have success. We've had a lot of success scripting drives. So maybe not right away, but I wouldn't mind that, earlier. I mean, not 4 verticals. That's a Madden play. I mean, teams don't actually run 4 verticals in real life. But yeah, I mean, something like that where you get Jalen Lloyd open deep, right? Like, we need more chunk plays because we don't have chunk plays in our arsenal for some reason. I don't get it. Why do we not have chunk plays? We have so much talent, and yet we can't get a play that's over 25 yards. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind, guys. It should be up to coaches to tell us about internal issues, not outside sources, my opinion. I agree with you, Deion, but the thing is, good coaching staffs will never tell you about internal issues. And then you have a Scott Frost situation where there's a million internal issues, nobody knows about it, and it doesn't come out until maybe, a couple years later when Scott Frost is fired. So when there are internal issues, there'll be leaks because people aren't disgruntled and they'll tell people, right? But I agree, kind of. Again, like I said earlier, I agree with that, and for that reason, I'm not going to tell you guys the complete story behind Mazzccua because I truly believe it's not in the best interest of our coaching staff and our football team. I think their DBs are so small they have to run zone against big physical receivers. I agree with you, but their DBs are athletic. Okay, that's what they have. They are very athletic. Christian says, Matt Rhule is a clutch recruiter and a program builder. We know he's good at rebuilding bottom-feeding programs. I agree. And that's one of the things that we know. We know for a fact. But is he clutch? We'll figure that out tomorrow. Sat is overusing Dillon, I think. What do you mean? What do you mean over? I think he's underusing Dillon. He's underusing Dillon's talents. Dillon has one of the best arm talents we've ever seen in Nebraska. And yet it doesn't, again, we're not having chunk plays. I don't think the pro style offense fits Dylan Raiola. This is one thing I don't like about Marcus Satterfield. Okay. I'm going to give you an example. The best offensive coordinators, whether they're in the college football ranks or in the NFL, they change their offense to fit their quarterback. Okay. They fit their offense to best fit their quarterback's strengths and weaknesses. They completely changed the philosophy. Okay, you saw that at Alabama. When Nick Saban started there, they were a pro-style offense. When they ended, they were West Coast. Okay, because they would change up their offense depending on their offense coordinator and the quarterback's philosophy and what the quarterback was good at. Okay, you look at, I'm a Commanders fan, so I'll give you guys an NFL example. Jaden Daniels is a rookie quarterback. Okay, when Cliff Kingsbury, the newest offense coordinator there in Washington, went over there, he completely changed their offense to fit Jaden Daniels. He's never done an offensive scheme like what he's doing now because it fit Jaden Daniels. And look at them. They have one of the best offenses in the NFL without that much talent. I said all that to say this. Marcus Satterfield and Glenn Thomas didn't change Nebraska's offense that much. Okay. And they should have. They should have changed their offense to best fit Dylan Raiola because, what Dylan Raiola does best is airing out the football, throwing in between zone coverages. He fits a West Coast type of offense. He fits a spread offense. He doesn't really fit a pro style. Okay. So that's just my take. If I were Mark Satterfield, I would have changed up the philosophy to use him a little bit better. And I also know for a fact that wide receivers aren't being used the way they should because Jamal Banks doesn't have as much yards as he should. Jalen Lloyd doesn't have as much yards as he should. So that's my take. Would love to know what you guys think. But yeah. Sat is Whipple's little brother. They're two completely different offensive coordinators. One overdid the pass game, one underdid, in my opinion. They're two different. And Whipple was bad. I'm not going to sit here and defend Whipple because he was not a good coordinator. Here's a question. Has Rhule either been at Temple or Baylor long enough to have success versus top 25 teams? Well, yeah, he was there long enough to have success versus top 25 teams because he won games. He won games at Baylor. He won, 11, 10 games last year? So he was there long enough to win big games. He just didn't do it. Or I think he won a couple big games, but, obviously the record speaks for itself. So, yeah. I'm expecting to go to a bowl game and get better recruits. If that's 6 or 7 wins, that's great. I agree with you. Again, let's just get 6, 7 wins. Let's go to a bowl game, but at the exact same grain. And we'll get to this when I talk about Dawson Merritt. I'm about to talk about Dawson Merritt. Okay. You need to win 8 games, 9 games to get a really good recruit like Dawson Merritt. I truly believe this, and I want you guys to listen. If Nebraska only wins 6 and makes a bowl game, that's good for us as a fan base, but that doesn't move the needle for recruits. I don't believe you get better recruits because you win 6 games. Okay? Because that shows minimal improvement. Matt Rhule won 5 games last year with a 5-star quarterback, with a better receiver core, the better running back core, the better defense, and you only win 6 games? If anything, that might tank our recruitment a little bit. So in order for us to start getting better recruits, I think we need to win 8, truly. And talking to some of these recruits, I think you need to get 8. So that brings me to the Dawson Merritt conversation. I want to talk about Dawson Merritt. So I made a video about him yesterday. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure to go to my channel, check out what I said about Dawson Merritt. But I truly believe, and I'm making my claim, that Dawson Merritt flips Nebraska. I truly believe it. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think it happens now. I don't think it happens tomorrow. I don't think it happens maybe in a week or 2. It'll probably happen maybe, at the end of the year, November, December. But talking with Dawson Merritt throughout my interview, just, I text him every now and then. I truly believe that his heart is in Lincoln and he wants to be here. I truly believe that. And I also think he's a guy who's loyal to his family. Okay, he loves home, loves the Kansas area, and he wants to be closer to home. And he likes the fact that he can drive home wherever he wants. It's hard when you go over to Tuscaloosa and you're from Kansas to not go home, basically, ever, not have that security net. So I truly believe he's going to flip. And he's playing right now. Okay. And Patrick Mahomes is attending his game right now, along with Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. They're at his game. Tells you everything you need to know. Like, Dawson Merritt's a really good recruit. I believe he's going to flip because his heart is here. But you have to win 8+ games. I will tell you this for a fact. The only reason why Dawson Merritt committed to Alabama, and the reason why he's still committed to Alabama, is because he cares about winning, number 1, and development, number 2. Those are the 2 things he cares about. Okay. At Alabama, they win every year. They compete for national titles every year, and they send guys to the NFL. So if you're a guy like Dawson Merritt who cares about those 2 things most, of course you're going to commit to Alabama. But he also cares about culture. He cares about fit. He cares about being close to home. He talked in my interview, he said that he really liked Ron Brown at Nebraska. He's a Christian, and he loved talking with Ron Brown about his faith. Okay, so there's a million things pulling at his heartstrings. And it's the same dilemma Dylan Rhule went with last year. Okay, so I'm comparing these 2 recruiting processes because they're so similar. Okay, Dawson Merritt cares about development and going to the NFL most. So does Dylan Rhule. Okay, so that's why Dylan Raiola turned down Nebraska twice. He went to Ohio State, then he went to Georgia because he cared about going to the next level and winning football games. But at the end of the day, his heart was telling him, I want to go to Lincoln. And he couldn't deny it. So he decommitted and flipped at the last second. That's what I think is going to happen here with Dawson Merritt. But you have to win football games, guys. You have to win football games. You got to win. If we only win 6 or 7 games, I don't think Merritt flips. Just because he's going to trust his gut. Although his heart might say Nebraska, his gut says, hey, I'm going to go to Alabama and win. I'm going to take that over going to Nebraska. So you got to win 8. You got to win 8. Dawson Merritt is from Kansas. He's about 3 hours away from Omaha. I was considering going to his game tonight, honestly, because I heard Patrick Mahomes was attending. I was like, oh, it's only a 3-hour trip. Nah, but at the end of the day, he's balling out right now. But we'll see what happens there. But that's my take. That's my take with Mr. Merritt. But we will see. We will see. So that's my update there. I know people are going to ask me about Michael Terry. It feels like, you know what's funny, talking about recruiting sometimes? It feels like we've been talking about this exact same 2 guys for 5 months. Like, that's exactly what's been going on. We've been talking about Dawson Merritt and Michael Terry for 5 months on end, but sometimes that's just how recruiting goes. Michael Terry, I like our odds with a lot less. I'll say that. And I've been trying to get him here. I'm doing my part. Been doing my part to convince Michael Terry he should come here. Simply put, if Michael Terry wants to get on the field early, he should go to Nebraska. Texas has 3 wide receiver commits right now. Two of them are 5 stars. One of them they just flipped from Florida State. But if I'm Michael Terry, I'm going to go with my heart. And I think in his scenario, his heart is with Texas because that's a hometown team. That's the team he grew up rooting for. It's going to be hard for him to turn him down. I think he commits to Texas, but that's not a done deal. That's not a lock. We'll see what happens there. It's not, again, if he were to commit to Texas, or if he were certain to commit to Texas, he would have already done it. The longer this goes on, the more I like Nebraska's odds. But I will say this about Michael Terry. He is visiting Georgia for that Georgia game tomorrow. Texas versus Georgia. So if you're rooting for somebody, it should probably be the Bulldogs. Just saying. That's my update there. It's not too much going on in the class of 2026. I want to tell you guys one thing. TJ Lateef, man, is legit. I've been watching a lot of TJ Lateef film just for fun over the last couple of days. I'll probably make a video about it at some point. TJ Lateef is a lot better than a lot of you guys give him credit for. Like, I think TJ Lateef's a high 4-star. Like, I really, really like him as a recruit. Now, do I think he's going to, go to a college football program and start right away, or should he start right away? No, he's going to probably develop for a couple years, but he's a really good player. And Nebraska needs to do all that it can take to get him to sign and keep him around for the end of the Dylan Raiola era, where maybe we can hand it over to TJ Lateef. But I've been watching him play, and I really like his game. So I'll say that. Jamarian Parker's been playing well. Jamarian Parker had like 200 yards last week, 200, 300 yards. So Jamarian Parker might start as a true freshman next year for Nebraska. Okay, we'll have these conversations a lot over the next couple of weeks, or the next couple of months even. That's all I can say, man. That's all I can say. But Jamarian Parker's really good. Malcolm Simpson's been playing well. So a lot of good recruiting news, a lot of good recruiting updates I wanted to mention here in this live stream, because I don't think they necessarily warranted making a video over. But really like Lateef, really like Parker, really like Simpson. Those are my 3 guys who've been standing out for me in the Nebraska class right now. But yeah, let's get back to talking about this game, though. Co says, you see what Oregon is doing to Purdue? I mean, they're not like necessarily beating them down. I think it's halftime. It's 21-0 in that ball game. So I would expect a little bit more of a beatdown, given the fact that we don't think Purdue's that good. But Oregon's playing well. Oregon's a good team. Thank goodness we don't play them. Imagine if we played Oregon and Ohio State this year. Yikes. Can you imagine, dude? How good would bowl eligibility feel? Our bowl streak still seems unbelievable to me. It'd feel good, but I feels like that's the expectation this year. Feels like that's an expectation. We'll see. It would feel good, though. If Dylan has wheels as a dual threat, then Nebraska would have a much better offense. I agree with you. Like, Matt Rhule has always had a dual threat quarterback. Like, at Baylor, at Temple, that was always the case. A guy who could run. Like, Dylan, I've been actually shocked with the fact that Dylan Raiola just can't scramble. And I think it's because, Dylan Raiola is a bigger quarterback. Like, and I mean bigger. Like, he bulked. I don't know if you guys, he gained like 20, 25 pounds over the offseason because he was bulking up. He was getting a lot of muscle. He's a bigger boy now. So I'm definitely, I'm shocked though. I thought he had a little bit more wheels than he actually has. But yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem if you use him correctly though. And he has a great arm. His weight does not impact his arm talent. I'll tell you that much. Christian says, I love the all white, so clean. Exactly, man. They're the best. We haven't wore them. We haven't wore the traditional all whites on whites since 2016. We wore white on whites, I guess, versus Buffalo a couple years ago, and we won. So to all the people that say the all whites are cursed, the last time we wore all whites, we won a football game. So what do you guys say to that? What do you guys say to that? It's really time that a star emerged on offense. Nelson, Barney, Dowdle, somebody needs to have a break of game and establish themselves as elite. I think Barney has already established himself as elite or as one of the best freshmen in the country. This is another qualm for me is I think we don't use Ja'Cory Barney enough. Like this guy is, on the same level, in my opinion, as a Ryan Williams, as a Jeremiah Smith. Yeah, now, is he as good? Probably not. But he's a really, really good freshman receiver, and he just doesn't get involved as much as he should. Get him the football. Get Carter Nelson the football. The only time Carter Nelson has ever gotten involved this year was against Northern Iowa, and they purposely scripted the opening drive so he knew the plays, and so the balls would go in his hands, and then they didn't play the rest of the game. So, I don't know. We have some studs, man, but we just got to get them the football. Get them the football. Williams is one of the best in the country. James Williams, I don't know if I buy that about James Williams. There's been a lot of hype around James Williams I think he's a good pass rusher. Would I say he's one of the best edge rushers in the country? Maybe. Is he one of the best DNs in the country? No. He's not good in the running game. But I think he's a really good pass rusher. Truly. I think he's probably top 30 in the pass rushing department. He just doesn't play enough reps. That's the thing. Like he only gets about 20 reps a game. So if he had more reps than that, it'd be interesting to see. Sad needs to create some fake jet sweeps with Barney and hit Lloyd over top. That's a good play call, Dallas. Again, Lloyd doesn't get enough reps either. I don't get it. Like Lloyd is the fastest receiver we've had in a very long time, maybe ever. Maybe ever. Jalen Lloyd is a track star. And yet this guy can't get on the field. And we know he can produce because he produced last year with a horrific offense. So I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I think we hold Indiana to 17, 24 points. I think we get to the quarterback a few times too. I hope so, man. Hope so. And again, that's the gray area. If you can give up only maybe less than 20 points, you win. If you give up in between 20 to 30, both things could happen. If you give up more than 30, I don't know if we win. I don't know. Nebraska will show how tough they are tomorrow. Dylan throws for 300 plus. I hope so, Sal. I hope so, my man. Really do. I hope, again, it's a prove it game. It's a prove it game. How good are we really? We'll figure it out tomorrow. Justin says, what's your favorite Harry Potter book and movie? Book and movie. That's a good question, Justin. I would say the fifth one. The best book is the fifth one, which is, I think, Order of the Phoenix. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. It's the fifth one. And the best movie is Deathly Hallows. I used to be a big Harry Potter nerd, so it's a good question, Justin. It's a good question. I think we all wonder what type of offense Rhule and Satterfield want to run and how much conflict of interest there is there. I think they want to run a very similar offense, but the problem is I think Glenn Thomas wants to run a different offense. That's where the conflict is. That's where the conflict is. Hey, Wilson, you say we need to throw more, but we have a bunch of people saying we need to run more. Well, I think there's always people who say we need to run more because that's kind of the Nebraska fan base, run the darn ball, right? But if we look at what's been successful over the last couple of games, it's been the passing game. Okay, I'm going to stick with what's been working. Okay, throughout the first 3 games, I told you to run the football more because that worked. And now the passing game's working, so we got to go back to the passing game. You got to stick with what works. That's the only thing. So, and the running game just hasn't worked. We should run the football if you could figure out this offensive line issue. That's what I'll say. Don't forget, the only game we lost was due to the defense. Offense has done enough in every game to win. That's incorrect, Chris. Incorrect. And I told you guys against Rutgers, it flips. There are games like that Rutgers game where the defense shows up and the offense doesn't. Okay. For example, the Colorado game was exactly that. Defense showed up, offense didn't, at least now in the second half. Okay. The offense has done enough, maybe, in that Illinois game. But they didn't do enough against Purdue. They didn't score a single point in the first half. They didn't do enough against Rutgers. They only scored 14 points against one of the worst. Well, not, don't want to say worst, but Rutgers does not have a good defense. To put this into perspective, Chris, our offense put up 14 points versus Rutgers. Wisconsin, with a backup quarterback last week on the road, put up 42 on that exact same ball club. With a backup quarterback. And it's Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not good. So our offense has not done enough for us to win. We won that game purely because of our defense. Our defense had to play at an elite level versus Rutgers. That was the problem. And I told you guys post-game, if our defense even played a little bit above average, if they played good, if they played great, we would have lost. They needed to play elite for us to win versus Rutgers. They had to have that goal line stop on 6 consecutive plays for us to win. They had to force multiple turnovers on us to win. Okay, if they played a little bit less than what they did, we would have lost. So, no, Chris, our offense has not done enough in every game. They're inconsistent, just like just about every part of our team, which is the problem. You know, at our best, our offense, I think, is really good. And when you see our offense at best is in that first half when our drives are scripted. Now, when the game gets close and the game gets tight, that's when our offense is at our worst. And it's 3 and out after 3 and out after 3 and out. We have no consistency running the football. We have no consistency passing the football. So, yeah, that's what I'd say to that. I think he took Baylor to a Big 12 championship. I think he did as well. I can't remember if he won, but yes, he won, I want to say 11 or 10 games his last year. Rhule lost to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah. But again, Rhule can win. We don't know if Rhule can win big games, at least not Nebraska. Sal says, we get 6 tomorrow. UCLA winnable, Iowa winnable, USC winnable. Ohio State, stay tuned. I like that. Again, UCLA's a dub, man. They're the worst team in the Big Ten. So that should be a dub. I think Iowa's winnable. I don't like that it's in Iowa City. And then Wisconsin hopefully is winnable. USC has lost a lot of games recently, so USC looks pretty good for us. But let's not look ahead tomorrow, and then we can start talking about Columbus, because that'll be a big-time game. Don't know if I like our odds there against a mad Columbus squad that just lost to Oregon. So got to get to a super chat here. Jake, appreciate the $2. He says, who wins us the game tomorrow, offense or defense? I truly believe if we win tomorrow, it would be because of Dylan Raiola, and we put the ball in Dylan Raiola's hands. I told you guys, this guy has such a good work ethic. And after the Illinois game, and he knew he missed that pass to Luke Lindenmeyer, he practiced that throw over and over again and tried to perfect it. Like, he is so surgical. He has such a good mindset. He's always trying to improve his game. So I think if we give Raiola the opportunity to succeed, and by doing that, you have to give him about 25, 30 attempts through the air, I think we win because of him. On defense, if we win the ball game, it's because Tommy Hill makes a big appearance in his game back, and then Cia Wright also balls out. He needs to start. So that's my answer to that. But our secondary, watch out for our secondary, because they need to have a good game. Angel says UCLA is a W. I agree, and especially because it's at the crib. It's at home. Like, we're going to win that ball game. It's going to probably be a little cold by that point. UCLA is not used to it. We're going to win. I also think the longer Dawson stays committed to Bama, the higher his stock stays until he makes his decision, I feel. Not sure this is a factor, but it crossed my mind. I don't know if Dawson cares about that. I think Dawson right now is just focused on his high school season, focused on winning football games, and then at the end of the year, he's going to make the decision to flip. That's what I think. Again, Deion Merritt is from the great state of Kansas, where a bunch of good recruits are coming out recently. Nebraska recruiting is getting better by, like, in-state talent, I should say. Kansas in-state talent is getting so much better. They're getting 4 stars and 5 stars every year from that state. They had 2 5 stars from this year's class, and Andrew Babola, who's a tackle who's about to commit to Michigan, and then they have Lincoln Cure, who's committed to Kansas State. He's a 5-star tight end. Like, they were producing 5 stars. So James Williams is an amazing piece to bring in. We were leading games, and the other team is in obvious passing situations. I agree. Completely agree, Christian. And that's the beauty of this defensive line. I told you guys this in the offseason. When you have a deep defensive line, it allows you to have some great blitz packages, and allows you to get a bunch of guys in there, right? Defensive linemen don't play the entire game. They don't play every single play. So we swap a lot of guys in and out for drives or plays here and there just to get, Nash rested, to get Jamari rested, to get Robinson rested. And by having a guy like James Williams off the bench, or a guy like Cameron Lenhart off the bench, or Riley Van Poppel off the bench, I don't know if he'll play tomorrow, man, it would just that's huge. And we didn't have that. We didn't have that luxury last year, so we didn't have that luxury. Send Lloyd and Fedone on twin skinny posts from opposite side of the field. I like that. I don't know about Fedone, man. Fedone's been so disappointing. He's been so disappointing, dude. I still remember him as a recruit, dude. How good he was. I'll tell you this: if our tight end core was a little bit better, Fedone would not be starting. Just because he's a shell of what he used to be, and it's not his fault. It's the injury's fault. I mean, he has 2 ACLs. What do we expect? But yeah, that really sucks. That really sucks. Have you followed the under the radar success of Connor Booth? Guy can play. Yeah. I've been watching Connor Booth a little bit. He plays Class C2 football. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I would say thrilled when Connor Booth committed because I'm like, why are we getting this small town Nebraska running back? Like, we're putting him on scholarship. Now, I did find out that I don't think he's actually on scholarship for Nebraska. I believe he has a scholarship for baseball. So he's actually a walk-on for the football program. So in that case, absolutely, I'll take him. Again, that's not confirmed. I can't confirm that. But Connor Booth is a ball player, man. Good in-state back. One of the best small-town running backs in the history of Nebraska high school football. We'll see if that translates to the Big Ten. I don't know. But he's balling out. He's balling out. So, happy for him. Can we sub Lou out and put the Buffs instead? Or IU out and put the Buffs instead? Yeah. I would love to play Colorado twice. But actually, I don't even know if we want that anymore. Colorado's they're looking pretty good. Colorado's a lot better team right now than what they were a month ago when we played them. Colorado's win football games. So, I don't know if we want them necessarily. Sometimes offense shows up, sometimes defense shows up. Yeah, that's the problem. We haven't really had a game so far where both show up. Except for Colorado. Colorado was the only game where both of them showed up, and that was only for the first half. Then it started to kind of crumble in the second half, but we had such a big lead where it didn't matter. What are our offensive plays per game? Is that a number low? Are we trying to feed too many mouths? We could pull it up. I mean, we could pull it up right now. But I assume it's pretty low. Like our plays per game, I'd assume is low just because of the fact that we're trying to, I'd say we're trying to run the clock. So here's our plays per game. UTSA is one of the best in the country at 80. And I don't know, and that's not even a good thing because that means their defense sucks. Ours is 45th, so right in the middle of the pack with 71. Again, that doesn't really tell us too much. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. Do you think Tony White is a top 5 defensive coordinator? I'd say he's top 10 for sure. I'd say he's he's right there around top 5. But I'll tell you this, he should be head coach in about 2 months. I believe it. And I believe if he is a head coach in 2 months, we should probably hire John Butler to be our next defensive coordinator. I think that's what's going to happen. Also, if that does happen, and John Butler's our new defensive coordinator, spoiler alert, we're not going to be running a 3-3-5 anymore. I don't know if you guys know that, but Matt Rhule's not a big fan of the 3-3-5. That is a conflict a little bit because Matt Rhule's never ran that before. He thinks it's kind of a NFL defense. And he just doesn't like it. He doesn't think it really fits the Big Ten. So I think if John Butler is our next defensive coordinator, they're going to go to a 4-3. Which some people will celebrate with. I personally, if I were making the decision, I think we should go to a 4-2-5. But just watch out for that. Just watch out for us not really having a 3-3-5 anymore if John Butler is hired as our next defensive coordinator. But that's an if. We'll see. Script the whole game. I agree, man. I agree. Is our offense a player problem or coordinator problem? It's a coordinator problem. Because I think we have the wheels, we have the weapons, we have the horses. Dylan Raiola is a good quarterback. We know that. We know Jamal Banks is a good receiver. We know Isaiah Nair is a good receiver. Okay, last year it was both. This year I think it's a coordinator issue because we have the talent. And as I've said in the past, you lose games or you win games because of one of two things. Okay, you either win games or you lose games because you have more or less talent than the opponent. We typically have more talent than the opponent. Or you lose games because of your coaching. We are more talented than Indiana. I'll say that. I think we're more talented than Illinois. I think we're more talented than Colorado. But we lost Illinois not because we were less talented, but because our coaching wasn't as good. Brad Bielema outcoached our guys. So it's a coordinator issue. Dallas says, glad to be part of the #1 Husker YouTube channel. I appreciate you, Dallas, as always. Again, if you're somehow watching this, make sure to subscribe. If you haven't, really quick, we're going to keep going here, but I will be live after the game, as always, right here, back in the studio, not in the dorm room. So make sure to be here right after the game. We're going to be going over my initial takes, hopefully talking about a victory and a bowl eligibility, but we will see. So make sure to be here after the ball game. But let's go back to the comment section here. Rudolph says, James Williams celebration dance is silly. I actually kind of like it. It's the showstopper. It's the LeBron James one. I like it personally. I don't know. I used to pull out that celebration back in my basketball games when I was in like 5th grade. So no, I like it. I like that. So I don't know. Death Roll will cook Iowa's goose tomorrow. Hope so, dude. We need our defensive line to show up big time. Like, this is a Ty Robinson proven game. All those guys. Who is most likely to enter the portal after the season? See, you're going to get me in trouble here. You're going to get me in trouble. Somebody's going to clip this and put this on Twitter. It's a conversation for probably a month or two. I would say Gabe Irving is likely to enter. Unfortunately, he's just not getting enough reps. I think Gabe Irving will probably transfer. Malika Coleman probably, just because he's getting redshirted. I think if he's not good enough to play right now, he's not going to be good enough next year. The receiver core is only going to get better. There are some guys who just like don't play or kind of buried in the depth chart, like Jane Doss. I would kind of see him leaving, or Bryce Turner I could expect leaving. Sua Lafodu I could expect leaving. Jacob Hood maybe. Guys like him who just now don't really play, but those who I could expect. And then as for like contributors who I could see leaving, like Prince Emmanuel is the guy I'd be worried about, because he's a Florida kid. He wasn't too happy after the Rutgers game. There was some things going on the sideline. I don't think he was just too happy about something. I couldn't tell you what. I've always been worried he leaves just because Florida kids have that tough transition to the Midwest. But he's a baller, man. You got to keep him on this team if possible. Besides him, I don't know. Maybe Stephon Thompson. I think he has a year of eligibility left. I could see him leaving. We'll see. Those are some guys I'd throw out there. I hope we keep all of them. I hope we keep every single one of them. But if I were to throw out some bold takes, those are my guys probably. I don't know. Or guys I could see a world where they leave. If our offense prioritizes long clock eating drives so we can keep their offense on the sideline, I agree. Like, we got to play our brand of football. And our brand of football is controlling time possession, run the football. Hopefully we do just that. But if running the football is not working, you got to go to Raiola's arm, and you got to stay with it. Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, if you are a two-sport athlete, your scholarship has to be counted as a football scholarship. No, that's not the case. No, because we had a quarterback in the past. We had a quarterback from a couple years ago who was a walk-on quarterback. I think his name was like Mikey Pauley or something was his name. And he played baseball and football, and then he transferred, I think, to Kansas. But no, if you are a two-sport athlete, they basically pick what scholarship you want. So it's not, that's for every sport. That's not just for football. So you could pick. So that's what I think's going on with Connor Booth. How many of you guys want to see all black and red uniforms? See, personally, I wouldn't mind the all black if they're done right. I don't think the all black we wore against Penn State were good. I would completely redesign them if I were me. I don't like the all reds, to be completely real. I do like the all whites. All whites are clean. Hopefully we'll wear them tomorrow. We need to offer $1 million to get a top 10 kicker. We need to offer more than that, man. We'll raise some money. Let's get a good kicker, a good long snapper, a good punter. We're going to be without our punter next year, guys. We don't have an answer there either. So, we need to offer some money in those special teams. Never mind me says, bring back Bill Bush. Fortunately, it's not happening. Bill Bush, it looks like he's moving away from Lincoln. That's the word on the street, that he's selling his house. And there's been rumors over the last couple of weeks that he's getting back into coaching. If he's selling his house, it's probably not with Nebraska. I'm just saying that. So we'll see what happens there, but we're not getting Bill Bush. Like, that's low-hanging fruit. I can't stop dreaming of when the staff feels like Dylan is fully ready to be unleashed. That moment they stop letting him just borrow the car and fully hand him the keys. Unfortunately, Christian, I don't know if that day will come just because of our offense is so conservative. I don't know. It sucks, man. It sucks. I just don't think this offense best fits Dylan Raiola's game. I'm being truthful with you guys. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know if they're fully going to ever let him be unleashed, but we'll see. Let's put Queso on the Nebraska O-line. Dylan would never get sacked, bro. That is so funny. That's funny. We'll see. Any special teams predictions for this week? Yeah, I said in my video, as Justin put here. Make sure to watch that video if you haven't already. I think we're going to go 2 for 2 kicking field goals. Now, do I think that persists throughout the season? No, but I think it's going to be enough to fix itself this week where we have confidence in our long snapping. We have a new long snapper in Derek Wacker, who is a walk-on, linebacker. We have him practicing how to long snap, so he's going to probably be our long snapper tomorrow. So we have a new long snapper, and I think that we're probably going to figure out some kicking issues. A lot of it was just a snapping issue. Figure out snapping, you'll figure out everything else. So I think we're going to go 2 for 2 kicking the football. Does that stay the same the rest of the year? Probably not, but that's my optimistic prediction for tomorrow. I thought Sean Callahan said something about that, but could have been wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong here, but no, there have been so many multi-sport athletes for Nebraska who have been baseball scholarship guys. So unless they recently changed that, which I don't think they have. Yeah, because why would they only do that for football? Because I know for a fact it's still the same for other sports. Like, for example, there have been Nebraska volleyball players who also play basketball, and they could pick and choose to this day. So why would it only be the same? The only, for football where, if you play football, it has to be a football scholarship. So I don't know. You could be right, though. You could be. I'm not sure for 100%. I wish Bill nothing but the best. I agree, man. He was a good coach. He really was. He really was. He turned around this Nebraska defense, this Nebraska special teams unit. He was really, really good. Who do you got, Georgia or Texas? I got Texas at home. They're the better team, in my opinion. High-powered offense. Georgia, I think they're going to be playing a little bit better after that Alabama loss, but I'm still going to go with Texas. And then Bama, Tennessee. That's tough. It's at Tennessee, I want to say. I'm gonna go Bama. I'm gonna go Bama just because these last 2 weeks have been so embarrassing for that program. Like Kalen DeBoer, he's feeling the sweat. He's finding out the real Alabama fan base. They're coming at him. So for that matter, he's gonna get the boys fired up. And they're gonna finally get a win. A big win against Tennessee. Is that still a top 10 battle? Are both those teams still in the top 10? I don't know. So, do you think Hoiberg will get some action tomorrow? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I hope not. Hoiberg should only come in the game if he is as a backup quarterback. That is my take. So I hope not. I hope the offense is rolling, and having so much success that we don't even think about it. That's what I hope. Field position will be very important tomorrow. Special teams coverage units will be key. I agree with you, Jim. It's a battlefield position. That's a Big Ten football for you. Queso would look good on that line. Yeah, I think we definitely let's get Queso on there. Let's get Queso on the offensive line. Let's put him at left tackle. A lot of people are watching this and they say, "Who the heck is Queso?" They have no idea. We need coffin corner punts. Bushini's been doing that, so I feel good about that. Bama should hire Scott Frost. Scott Frost is right now at the Rams. He just got hired as an analyst, and he's living his best life, I guess. Dylan Mahomes has a career game tomorrow for 404 touchdowns. I hope so, man. Would love that. Would absolutely love that. I don't know if he has an opportunity to throw for 400. I'd probably see about 300, but I think he's going to play well too. I agree with you. I completely agree. Man, big game tomorrow, though. I'm nervous for it. I'm excited for it. It feels a lot like the Illinois game. I'm happy that's 11 a.m. just so we can kind of get it over with a little bit. Like, I'm nervous. I don't really I sometimes don't like those night games because I have to sit there the entire day and feel really, really nervous about it. I can't even enjoy the other games. Like, hopefully we get this victory at 11 a.m. and I can enjoy the SEC slate the rest of the day. So that's my thought on the 11 a.m. But normally I like those night kickoffs. The worst, in my opinion, is the 2:30. Hate 2:30. Never, ever be a 2:30. That's the worst slate by far because, especially for me, attending games, like if you go to those 2:30 ball games, you go to those 2:30 ball games, you have to leave and you miss the end of the 11 a.m. games, and then you go back and you miss the start of the night game. So 2:30s are the worst. Dallas, Keep politics away from the chat, my man. We're not doing that. We are not doing that, dude. Not now. Not ever. Not ever, Dallas. We're just not doing that. What happened to Kobe Brett's? I mean, Kobe Brett just isn't good. Kobe Brett was getting some hype for some reason. Like in the offseason, people were hyping up Kobe Brett's like, oh, he's going to play. And I was telling you guys like in July, I was like, why the heck are we talking about Kobe Brett's? Like, dude has never played. He's a special teamer. Like, why are we even discussing this? And yeah, he turns out to not play. So I don't know. Kobe Brett's, I never really liked him as a prospect. I mean, I watched a lot of him play at Westside. Like, he's a good kid, good guy, but I just didn't think he was going to translate to Big Ten ball, and he really just hasn't played, And there's a lot of Nebraska kids who are like that. Like AJ Rollins, I was thinking about last night. AJ Rollins is in his 4th year and has never played. So there's a lot of busts that are still on the roster, unfortunately, that are kind of return guys from the Scott Frost era. And to be fair, Scott Frost didn't do Kobe Brett many favors. But at the exact same time, his coach when Scott Frost was here was Travis Fisher. And Travis Fisher was a darn good DB coach. So, I don't know. Kobe Brett, in my opinion, just isn't that good. The only challenge I have is sleeping the night before games. I need Queso to punch me and knock me out or something. That's funny, my man. That's funny. I'll be sleeping like a baby tomorrow night if we get the victory. I'll tell you that. Ferrari Lloyd breaks out tomorrow. He's going to show the burners if he gets reps. Hopefully he does. Janarian Bonner is not starting anymore. He started throughout the first couple games at slot. They have not started him the last 2 games. So Barney's that starter now, but Lloyd's getting a lot more snaps. Hopefully he gets in the ball game because he's a weapon, man. He is a weapon. All right, guys. I don't want to hold you guys here too much longer. Man, big time game tomorrow. Again, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Put your final thoughts in the comment section. I'll go for as long as you guys have comments. So put in your final thoughts about this game, your predictions, what Nebraska needs to do in order to win, how Nebraska potentially loses, some other games you're looking forward to. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Let me know in the comment section. Put your final thoughts in there. Again, make sure to be here after the game tomorrow because we'll be live talking about a win, a loss. You're going to want to be here for either or because I'll tell you what's really going on. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. So make sure to be here tomorrow and hopefully we're celebrating. Hopefully we're celebrating tomorrow. That is the hope. So keep putting stuff in the comment section, guys. I will go as long as you guys have stuff to talk about. I can tell you Emmett is hungry. Yeah, Emmett's a good kid, man. He's a good guy. I hope he gets reps. I don't think Emmett's going to get as many carries as last game, though, because he didn't play well versus Rutgers. So I think Dante is going to go back to being that lead back, and then probably from there it's going to be Ramir. That's what I'd guess. Michael says, nervous about tomorrow? Me too, dude. Me too. Man, we need a win. We need a freaking win, darn it. I just get really sad, like when we lose games. Like at this point, I just get sad. And I get angry too, but like I get actually really sad because I put all my time into this team. I think about this team so much. I want to win so much. We've had so many heartbreaks over the last 8 years. It finally feels like we're turning a corner, and yet we can't do it. So I'm going to be really disappointed if we lose tomorrow. I'm nervous, man. Absolutely nervous. Again, hopefully we win. Hopefully we're talking about a victory this time tomorrow. I could see a scenario where we lose. I predict us to win. I don't know if I feel very confident about my prediction, but hopefully we're talking about a victory, guys. So I'm nervous as well. Nervous too. Did you see that Dante Williams has worked his way up to Georgia secondary coach? Too bad we couldn't keep him for recruiting. Yeah, Dante Williams is a great coach. He was at USC the year previous. That dude's a stud, man. Again, we've had some great DB coaches over the years. Like we had Dante, we had Travis Fisher, we had Evan Cooper, Evan Cooper was all right, But then we had Bill Bush. We've had some good DB coaches. Even in the Pelini era, we had good DB coaches. So I don't know. Emmett talked about how explosive he is looking for him at running back. Hold on, let me reread that. Emmett talked about how explosive he is looking for him and running back room to be. Emmett's an explosive player. I think Ramir's an explosive player, but I don't know if he gets reps just because he didn't play well against Rutgers. That was an opportunity. He didn't really shine. I was calling for him to get reps, man. Christian, my prediction is an overtime clown fiesta. Dude, I'm telling you guys this. If we go to an overtime ball game, we are losing. Like, turn off the television. Save yourself the pain. If we go to an overtime ball game, we are losing. We have not had a first down in overtime in, I think I want to say 10 years. I think the last time we got a first down in overtime was against Iowa back in 2014. So, yeah, if we go to overtime, I don't think we're winning. I'll just tell you that much. So hopefully we don't go to overtime. You and Justin need to collaborate. I hate picking between you two. Yeah, I mean, for a live stream. Oh yeah, post game. Yeah, so me and Justin, we were gonna do post game lives. We were talking about it through the off season, and then it just kind of, it didn't. I mean, it's my fault. Like I kind of brunched away from that because it was more convenient for me to come on the channel myself. But we'll have some more live streams probably throughout the year. But probably not post game, unfortunately. Like we'll see if that happens next year. It's just again, it's definitely a predicament. But I will be live on my channel tomorrow after the game. So be here for show, guys. You want to get this game over with. I want to get the Ohio State game over with. I agree. Win this football game, and then I'm honestly looking past Ohio State because I don't know if we can win that game. And then we start to really get to the meat and potatoes, USC, UCLA, Wisconsin, Iowa. You think Glenn Tommy's having play calling? I bet he wants to be the play caller, to be completely honest with you. And if I'm Matt Rhule and the offense struggles tomorrow, I would switch it away from Marcus Satterfield. I totally would. And I give it to Glenn Thomas because we have two good offensive coordinators on the staff. And one is Glenn Thomas is just as experienced calling plays as Marcus Satterfield. And honestly, he has a better resume. So, yeah. 31-20 is your prediction, Justin. I like it. I like it a lot. Raiola has elite arm strength. I would love to see him launch 65, pick or not. Me too, man. The only time, you know what's funny, guys? I think we've only seen Dylan Raiola throw about 2 or 3 long balls this entire year. The first one was to Isaiah Nair against UTEP. The second one, there was a big play to Jalen Lloyd, basically like a botched play, but Jalen Lloyd had a big play. I think it was against Colorado. And then I think that's it. I think those are the only 2 big deep shots Raiola's had all year. That is ludicrous. With this receiver core, this arm talent, shame on you, Marcus Satterfield. How do we not have more chunk plays in the rotation? Or are we just scared to do them? I don't know. I think we'll win. Vegas is wrong about this one. You could be right, but I think it's a decent line. I think Indiana should definitely be favored. I would expect by 3. If I were a betting man, I'd bet Nebraska, but I think it's Indiana should be favored. I'll say that much. Same here, Wilson. I'm nervous. Wife leaving the house, cleaning in case I can't watch for half quarter or so if things go south. Yeah, it's gonna be a big time game tomorrow, man. I'm nervous too. Yeah, I'm nervous. I've looked carefully at the matchups. As long as we play a clean game, we should win. Yeah, that's if though, and we haven't played a clean game all year, Jim. So that's why I'm worried. We haven't played clean all year long, so we'll see. Raiola was working with Jeff Christensen over the bye week. That's good. Again, Raiola he works so hard, man. He wants it bad. I think he's gonna have a good day. I really do. Christian says, I no longer predict an overtime to 28-24 Nebraska. I like that, man. Hopefully. I'll be at work like always. Yeah, that sucks, man, Jake. I told you last time. You need to quit your job, man. No, I'm kidding. I'll be recording the game, so I'll be able to come home and scream at the TV like crazy. I think we win a tough game. 21-17. Black Shirts wins the game. Hope you're right, my man. Hope you are right. Are we even net positive yards in overtime in that span? Absolutely not. We are not. I guarantee you we're not. Yeah, because we've had some bad overtimes. I don't think we gained any yards versus Wisconsin last year in overtime. I know versus Miami, I don't think we gained any yards versus them. And then yeah, obviously we didn't gain any yards versus Illinois. That's like minus 30. So yeah, we really struggled on overtime. All right, guys. Don't want to hold you guys here too much longer. Again, I'll get to the final comments. You guys just put something in there last second. One last promotion. Make sure to hit that like button. It would really help me out. Make sure to subscribe if you're somehow not subscribed. I will be here at the end of the game. Make sure to be here. We're talking ball, talking about hopefully a win. So set notifications. Like some of you guys are subscribed. There is a bell icon at the bottom of this video. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you know when I upload a video. You know when I go live. It's really helpful. So make sure to do that too. Again, we'll get to your last second comments here. Never mind me says, if we can play complete game, I think we win comfortably. I agree with you, but it's an if. It is an if. Barney says, breakout, or Barney, breakout, please. I hope so too. We have no reason not to destroy Indiana through the air. Their average DB is 5'10" or 11. We need to throw up jump balls. That's tough versus zone coverage, though. You can't really do that against zone. And they run 85% zone. See you tomorrow after the game. Go Big Red. Appreciate you, Christian. Great show, Will. Since it's Deion. Justin says, go Big Red. Appreciate you guys always. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Celebrate. Sleep well, because we have to get up early tomorrow morning. Get ready for this game. Drink some coffee. Get ready for some football. So see you tomorrow. See you after the game. Hopefully we're talking about a victory. Go Big Red. Go Matt Rhule. And see you the next one.